Hi there, short 8 and learn objective please, and then we'll get on with the lesson. Okay, pause the video while you do that. Right, so percentage decimal, right, okay, let's have a little look. So I just want to quickly show you how and you have been doing these, so say you've got 27% and you want to convert that into a decimal. All you're doing with that, you're dividing by 100. Okay, you're dividing by 100. So if you have 27 divided by 100, okay, remember there's the decimal point there, and we're moving the numbers one place to the right for each zero. So there's 2 zeros, so we move that 2 places to the right, so it becomes 0.27. Now I know you've done these in the last lesson, so but without sort of probably realizing you're dividing by 100 each time. Okay, so you could have 36.1%. Again, you divide by 100, and then so we're moving the numbers 2 places to the right, so it'd be 0.361 as a decimal. Okay, and the same then when you're converting a decimal to a percentage. So say I've got 0.21%, 0.21. I want to convert that into a percentage. We're timesing by 100, aren't we? So there are 2 zeros, so we're moving the numbers 2 places to the left. They're getting bigger. Remember, if you don't remember left or right, they're getting bigger. So we're moving this 2 places there, so it becomes 21%. So that's what you're doing each time when you're converting from percentages to decimals and decimals to percentages. And a lot of the work we'll be doing today is involving converting fractions to percentages. But you can easily then convert that percentage to a decimal from there, can't you? Okay, once you've got the percentage, you can convert that into a decimal just by dividing by 100. Okay. Right, so let's have a little look. Say, for example, I wanted to convert 4/16, and I want to convert that into a percentage. Okay, into a percentage. Now, I did touch on this earlier on in the week. And in these here we need sorry, I think the last lesson we need to decide. Okay, remember a percentage is just a fraction out of 100. So can I multiply 16 to get to 100 exactly? Okay, if the answer is no, and in this case I can't, 1632, I can get a 96, but I can't get to 100. What I have to do, okay, is simplify. So I'm going to simplify this. Now we have done quite a lot of work on simplifying fractions, okay? So I'm going to start off here. I'm going to find what goes into both 4 and 16. Okay, now I know 2 goes into them both because they're even numbers. So we go I'm going to divide that by 2. Divide that by 2, so now we're halving 8, and then I can do the same again because they're even numbers. Divide by 2, divide by 2, so I get 1/4. Okay, so I've simplified 4/16 to 1/4. Okay, I've simplified that. So from there, I know from the work I did in the last lesson, the 1/4 is equal to, and you'll have these in your books, okay, 1/4 is equal to 25%, okay, because that's one of the ones I remember. Okay, so straight away I can convert it quite easily by simplifying. Okay, then I might be getting a question which is something like 3/20, and again I have to convert that into a percentage. Now I can't simplify this any further. Okay, I can't. Nothing goes into both apart from 1. Nothing goes into both 3 and 20, so I can't simplify that. So, but what I have noticed here is this 20, I might be able to times this 20 by something to turn it into 100. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, it's 5. Okay, I'm going to do the same to the top, times it by 5. 15 out of 100. Okay, 15 hundredths. 15 hundredths is 15% because a percentage is just a fraction out of 100. Okay, percentage is just a fraction out of 100. So if I can convert this, if I can expand this fraction and find an equivalent fraction where the denominator is 100, then it's easy to turn it into a percentage. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So I've got 12/20, Okay, and I can see straight away I got another one which is 20, so I can multiply it up. Okay, times that by 5 will give me 100. Do the same to the top, times it by 5, 12 fives are 60. 60 over 100 is 60%. Okay. On this one as well, I can actually simplify it, can't I? If I was just to simplify that to tenths, I'm going to halve both, I'm going to divide both by 2. So I get 6 over 10. 6 over 10, 1/10 is 10%, 6/10, 60%. Okay, so you can do it either way with some of them. Okay, either way with some of them. Let's have a little look at this one. 18 over 24. Now I can see straight away 24, I'm not going to be able to multiply that and get it 100. Okay, 25 I can, but not 24. Okay, so I'm going to simplify. I'm going to simplify this. Okay, so let's just start off by halving both. Okay, if you can find the highest common factor of both, you can cut out a bit of time with this. But let's just on this one, let's just, so we've got 9/12. We can still go lower because what goes into both 9 and 12? It's 3, isn't it? So I can divide both by 3. 3 is a factor of both. Okay, so that goes into the 3 times. 9 divided by 3 is 12, divided by 3 is 4. So actually I've simplified that to 3/4. Now if I can remember from the last lesson, 1/4 is 25%, so 3/4 will be 75%, isn't it? 75%. Okay, so 8/24, 75%. So you're converting that fraction into that percentage by simplifying first. Okay, I can have 12 over 50, and again I can see straight away I can nice and easily times that by 2 to turn it over 100, times that by 2, so now I get 24 over 100, 24%. Okay, so this time I'm going to expand it out rather than simplify. Okay. 9/25. Anything with 25ths at the bottom, again, it's really easy. We just times it by 4. 25, 50, 75, 100. Times it by 4, which will give us 100. Do the same to the top. Times it by 4. 9 4s, 9, 18, 27, 36 over 100. 36%. Okay. 12 over 24. Now straight away with that one, I can see 12 is half of 24, so that is a half. A half is 50%. So you can see what we're doing here. You're either expanding up to turn it into a fraction over 100, or you're simplifying it into things like halves and quarters and maybe even tenths, okay, and converting it from there. Okay, have a go please at these questions. Okay, have a go at these. Okay, I will warn you that very last one is really tricky. Okay, so the last one is very tricky, so I'm quite happy for you not to worry too much about that if you're struggling, but I think the others you can do. Okay, the others you should be able to do. Okay, right, pause the video, work through those please, show your workings out, and we'll go over them when you're done. Right, let's have a look. This one I can see the 12 isn't going to be able to, I can't multiply the 12 into a fraction over 100, so I'm going to simplify. Simplifying that, if I divide both by 3, I get 3/4, don't I? 3/4, 75%. Okay, this one I can quite easily expand it out into a fraction over 100. I think that's the same one we did. Oh, we've already done that one. Okay, times 2 times 2, 24 over 100, 24%. Okay, this one again, I can see I'm not going to be able to expand that out and turn it into a fraction over 100, so I'm going to simplify. So I do 4 over 16, okay, 2 over 8, 1/4, my answer is 25%. Remember, if I can just see what goes into both 8 and 16, 8 goes into 8 once, so I could just do it a bit quicker if I can. But anyway, 25%. This one, again, I can expand out quite nicely, can't I? times by 5 times by 5, 55 over 100, 55%. Mark these as you're going, please. A little bit trickier, this one. But again, I'm just going to try and simplify it. So let's have a little look. I'm going to start off by, let's just go through slowly. The 6 over 30. What goes into both 6 and 30? Well, 6 does, doesn't it? Okay, 6 goes into both. So 6 goes into itself once, and it goes into 35 times. So that's the simplest form, is 1/5. 1/5, I'm going to expand that out to 2/10, and 2/10 is 20%, isn't it? 2/10 is 20%. So yeah, hopefully you've got there. Okay, when it comes to 25, just times it by 4, times by 4, so that becomes 100 over 13 times 4 is 52. Okay, 52%. And I'll just quickly go through this last one, okay? And again, it involves quite a lot of simplification and stuff like that, okay? So let's have a little look. 5 goes into the both, so that goes into the 3 times. 5 goes into that 24 times, okay? If I'm dividing both by, then 3 goes into the both, so I got 1/8. Now, 1/4. We know 1/4 equals 25%, so 1/8 is half of 25%, is 12.5%. So it's a tricky one there. Well done if you've got that last one, 12.5%, because that is a tricky question. Okay, right, moving on from that. Okay, moving on from that, we're going to look at turning percentages to fractions. Turning percentages to fractions, and this is probably easier, percentages to fractions. So if I've got 40% and I want to turn that into a fraction, okay? Now, as I've told you before, all a percentage is a fraction over 100. So all I have to do is put it over 100, okay? But that's not enough. I have to simplify it from there. So first of all, I can divide both by 10, because there's zeros here. I'm going to divide both by 10. By 10, divide by 10. So that gives me 4. I'll just cross over 0 off both when I divide by 10. 4/10, and I can simplify further than that, because I can halve both of these because they're even. So 2/5. So 40% is 2/5. So it's easy to put it into the first one, but then we have to simplify. Okay, but then we have to simplify. So let's go have a look at 29%. So that's 29 over 100. Can I simplify this? What goes into both 29 and 100? So 1 does, obviously, but that's not going to help us. And actually nothing does. Nothing else goes in there, into it, because 29 is a prime number. Okay, so in that case, this is our answer. So that's a nice easy one, because we don't have to simplify. 84%. Remember, a percentage is just a fraction over 100. So there we go. I know this is going to simplify, because this is even numbers. So let's just halve them both. So that becomes 42 over 50. I can halve them both again, so that I've got 21 over 25. Anything else simplified? Anything goes into that? No. So that's as low as I can go with it, okay? 71%. 71 over 100. 71 over 100. Can't simplify that any further. Okay, 71 is a prime number. Last one, 8%. So again, I'm just going to put 8 over 100. I know I'm going to be able to simplify this. Let's halve it. 4 over 50. I can go again. Halve it. 2 over 25. Okay. So when you do these, you put it over 100. For any percentage, you put it over 100 as your fraction. And then you simplify from there. Have a go at these, please. Okay. Have a go at these. Pause the video while you're doing them. And press play when you're done. Right, let's have a little look. So again, this one we're going to put just over 20 over 100. We can clearly simplify, divide both by 10, 2/10. We can go again, 1/5. 37 over 100, can't go any further. 64 over 100, we know we can go further, so we're going to halve both. 32 over 50, halve it again. 16 over 25, 16 25ths, can't simplify any further. Okay, 19 over 100, can't simplify any further, so that's our answer. 6 over 100, halve it. 3 over 50, 3/50ths. So they're the answers for those. Give them a tick, please. Okay. Right, we're just going to do a few practice questions on to finish off. We're going to just do the some word problems. Okay, some word problems. Let me just get the right. Okay. So if a shirt was £50 and it was 10% off, what's the new price? Okay. Now this is going back to the work we did earlier, and we found a percentage of a number. So to find 10% of 50, which is nice and easy, of £50. So 50 divided by 10, isn't to find 10%, you just divide it by 10. So that would be £5. Okay. So, but this is 10% off. So that means we have to start with our original price of £50. We have to take away the £5. So the new price is £45. Okay. So what we're going to be careful here, we have to find the percentage, but we have to then give the new price. Okay, give the new price. So you find 10% and then you take it the £50 off. Okay. Let's have a look at another one. Right, okay, so you could have something what is 70%. 70% off. Yep, 70% off. It was £450, okay, and then it's 70% off. So I need to find 70% of 450 to start off. Yep. So I'm going to start off. I think I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to do 50%. 50%, remember, is a half, isn't it? Okay, 50% is a half. So if I half that, I get 225. So I found 50%. Now I need to find 10%. 10% of 450 is £45. And then I need to find another 10%, don't I? So it's another £45. So this is my 70%. Remember what we did last time where we built it up, isn't it? Okay. Show your workings with these as well. Okay. So that becomes 5, 10, 15. 5 carry the 1, 10, 12, 3. So £335. Okay. That is 70% of £450 is £335, but it was £450. That's how much you get off. You get 70% off, so you get £335 off. Okay, and that gives me, let's have a look, £115. £115 is the new price. Okay, is the new price. And you can get ones where it's a little bit trickier because then we're dealing with, we're moving into pennies. So it's 15% off, and it was £124. Okay, it was £124. So I need to find 15% of, first of all, not off, of £124. So I'm going to find 10% first. 10% of 124. Remember, I'm dividing by 10. Okay, I'm dividing by 10, so I'm moving this decimal point to there, aren't I? So it becomes £12.50. Okay. Then I need to find 5%. So remember, from there to there, I'm just dividing by 2, and I'm halving. So I have to halve this here. Okay, so half of £12.50. And again, if you need to do, just divide it by 2 to find half of something, you can. Okay, it'll be £6.25. I add those together and I've got £18.75. So that tells me 15% of £124 is £18.75, but that's not me done. The original price was £124. I have got 15% off. So I've received £18, 75 pence off. So I have to take them away, don't I? Okay. So now I can't do those. So I'm going to just go from here 3, there, 9, 1. Okay, so 10 take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 7 is 2. Can't do 3, so I'm going to borrow there. 13 take away 5 is 8. 13 take away 8 is 5. And there we go. There's something wrong there now. No, I haven't. 1 take away 1 is 0. 1 take away nothing is 1. So it's 105. The new price is 105.25. So please show your workings with these questions. Okay, show your workings. So I'd like us to finish off today and finish off all our work on fractions, percentages, and decimals. Could we, page 20, please? Page 20, questions 13 to 15. Now these are the easier ones. If you want to skip those and go straight to the hard ones, okay? So these are the easier ones. So these, and if you want to skip and go straight to page 21 and have a go at the hard ones, that's questions 13 to 16, okay? So if we can finish off with those, please. Okay, if you want to skip straight to the hard ones, you can. If not, just do those first and see how you get on with those. Okay. Right. Good luck with that, everyone. Cheers. Bye bye.